For today's workout, I do want to say that you can complete a lot of the exercises without any of the equipment, but some of them you are going to need some small pieces of equipment, fairly affordable. So I have today, I'm going to be using number 0 orange band. I purchased this out of Amazon. Serious Steel is the company that I used, and I also have a number 1 band. So you'll see these 2 bands used throughout the exercise, and then also I have a hip circle. You can purchase this through any company. The one I'm using is from Brett Contreras. The glute loops, I got these in a package deal. They work out pretty good for me here at my gym. And I also seem to like the durability of them. They do have this sticky material on the back, which prevents them from sliding up and down on your legs. So that's the brand that I recommend. And then also a yoga mat. You can just get a basic Amazon mat. This is the one I purchased. You don't need anything fancy. It doesn't have the company for this retailer, but it'll get the job done. And then something to hook a band up to, whether you have a post in your basement, you can hook something up in your house, or if you have access to a gym, you can just take these bands with you to your gym and use them there. So I'll start with the first exercise here. It's going to stretch the lower back gently just to its normal range of motion. So you might hear some people say you shouldn't stretch your back, it can make your back pain worse. That can be true, but this exercise is really just to kind of take you through that range of motion within those pain barriers. So it's called the cat-cow. You're going to start on all fours on your yoga mat. Try and get into a good posture with your back flat to start. All you're going to do is you're just going to gently arch the spine and lift the head. Hold that for a second, then you're going to just fold the spine, roll the spine into a flex position, tuck your chin, hold that for a second or two, take a deep breath in, and arch the back again. You're just going to go through this motion 5 times, nice and easy, just like that. So all you're really trying to do here is just take your spine through that normal range of motion. You don't want to try and push it too far to the point where it causes pain. Just gently do this motion nice and slow. From there, we're going to do what's called a bird dog. You're going to stay in this quadruped position, which just means stay on all fours. You're going to lift your right arm and your left leg. And the goal here is to try and keep your body in a nice straight line. You don't want to lift the leg real high or have the arm all the way up here. You're just trying to find that nice straight line with your body. Head stays straight, arm staying straight, back leg kicked out. You're working through the glutes here, so when you come back down, make sure you lift from the hip. And just keep the arm and the leg straight. You're going to hold that for 10 seconds. Come down, right back up. Same thing. Right arm, left leg. Hold it for 10 seconds. And again, one more time. 10-second hold. And then we'll switch sides. So I generally recommend when you're doing the bird dogs, pick a side. So if you're doing right arm, left leg, do 3 to 6 reps per side and then switch. So then the opposite of that would just be left arm, right leg. 10-second hold. In for a second and right back up. And you can do that 3 to 6 times as well. You can do these in a way that you're going to do more reps each time. So if I want to do 6 sets or 6 reps of 10 seconds each, I can do that a couple times to build the endurance in your lower back. So what you're working here is you're going to strengthen your hips a little bit. And this actually targets your upper back as well. But what you're really fighting is that rotation that your body's going to want to do. You might find when you get into this position, you're going to want to be like, whoa, a little bit wobbly. As you get stronger, the goal is to be just nice and stable like so. Once you finish that movement, you're going to lay flat on your belly. We're going to do a modified plank. Obviously, there are more difficult versions of this exercise, but for the general person who's having a lot of pain, it's best to learn this exercise from the elbows and the knees. So what you do here with this exercise in the plank position, you're going to just plant your hands into the mat and you're going to pull your elbows and knees toward each other. And what that's going to do is going to create torque in your midsection, and that's going to lift the hips, right? And all you're trying to do from there is just pull the knees and elbows towards each other and brace here at the abs. So if you're doing this correctly, you should feel your body start to shake a little bit. A lot of times people just come up into a plank and they're not really working their abs, their back is sagging, their hips are sagging. What you're trying to do is round your lower back a little bit so you can engage your abs. Think about when you do a sit-up. You flex the spine. So really what you're doing is you're trying to flex your spine just a little bit to engage your abdominal muscles. So pull everything in, hold it for 10 seconds, and then relax. And you can do that 3 times as well. From there, we'll move on to the side. We're going to work the obliques. This one's also going to work your glute medius to an extent. which is the hip muscle that you have here on the side of your butt. It's kind of this muscle up here. Just think about lift the leg out to the side. So what you're going to do is you're going to come into on your side, knees bent. You're going to pull this elbow towards the bottom knee, and you're going to push your hips forward. So let's look at that again. Lift the hips, push the hips forward, and create tension between the elbow and the knee. You're going to hold that for 10 seconds. If you're not strong enough to hold that, do it for 5 seconds to start. And just work your way up to a cumulative total of about 30 seconds each side. So you'll do it again. Hold for 10 seconds. And back down. So what we're going to do 3 times, 10 seconds each side, and switch the other way. It's going to be the same exact thing. You'll be laying on the right side, and lift the hips up like this. From there, we're going to go onto our back, and we're going to do glute bridges. So from here, all we're going to do, what I want you to try and do with this exercise, is avoid lifting up and just arching the back. What you're trying to do is lift with your butt muscles. So you're not trying to overextend your spine, because that can actually cause more pain in some people. So plant your hands on the floor, push into the floor as hard as you can. Lift through the butt and squeeze your butt as hard as you can on top. And drop back down. We're going to do 10 of these. 3 seconds each time. So hold 1, 2, 3, really squeezing the butt. Notice I'm not overarching the lower back. Sometimes it helps to tuck your chin, because that'll help kind of prevent to arch your back too much. If you have your chin tucked, it's really hard to arch your back too much. So tuck the chin a little bit, squeeze the butt, and back down. 10 sets, or 10 reps, 3 seconds each time. From there, we're going to stand up, and we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So you're going to come in this kneeling position, one leg up, one leg back, just like so. And now, a lot of times when people do a hip flexor stretch, they try and just push their hips forward and try and open up the hips like that. But the problem with that is it causes a lot of arch in your spine and unnecessary strain on the hip flexor. So all you're really trying to do is stretch that hip flexor, maybe get your psoas or iliacus involved. So what you're going to do here, come into this kneeling position and just squeeze your butt, right? So all you're doing, think about it right here. If I'm arching my back, I'm not going to really feel anything. But if I tuck my butt under, then you should feel a nice stretch right here in the hip flexor. You're going to hold that 30 seconds, right? And then we'll switch sides. Come up in this tall kneeling position, squeeze the butt. You're going to feel that hip stretch, and then relax. Right, from there we're going to stand up. Now I'm going to sit on the bench, but you can just as much use a chair. It'll work just the same. You're going to take one leg up, put your ankle on your knee of the opposite leg, sit up nice and tall, and just push down the knee gently. There are modifications to this 90-90 stretch, but for the general public, this is going to be the first place to start. It's the easiest way to start. So just put your ankle on your knee, push down the opposite leg, try to sit up nice and tall. You might find when you get to this position for the first time, you're kind of, leaning over like this, and you're really struggling to keep your back straight. If you have to lean back a little bit, that's okay. You don't need to really lean forward a whole lot. Just sit up nice and tall, push down that hip. We're going to do 30 seconds each side. Okay, from there, we're going to go and get our arms band. This is a great way to straighten the upper back. These are band pull-aparts, really simple exercise. All you're going to do is take this band about shoulder width, make sure there's no tension in the band when you grab it. Keep your arms straight and just pull the band apart until it touches your chest. Something to keep in mind while you do this is while you're pulling apart, you don't want your wrists to flex. The idea is to get your arms and your wrists straight so that when you pull it apart, you finish with your wrists in a straight position, not that they're folded forward like this. So keep the wrists straight. You're going to keep tension on that band coming forward and pull it back apart. We're going to do 20 reps from this position. Just keeping the arms nice and straight. Keep the band tight. You don't want to let it come loose in between each rep. Just keep constant tension on that band. Okay, and then we're going to finish here with a standing Pallof press. The reason I like to incorporate this exercise is because it puts you in a position where you're strengthening the trunk while you're standing. Most of the time when you're having pain, you're not going to feel that while you're resting on the floor, and you want something that carries over into everyday life. So I really like this exercise because it strengthens the abs in a standing position. So what you'll do is you'll take the band, hold it in front of your chest, You're going to step away from the rack just a little bit so you feel like it wants to pull you and twist you a little bit. So just stand. I like to squat down a little bit, makes it a little bit more challenging, and press the band straight out, hold, and back in. Now when you do this, it's important to take a deep breath, brace your core musculature, and just push straight out. So this is going to want to pull me this way. What I'm trying to do is just keep it right in line with my chest. You're going to push out, hold it for a second, back into your chest. Out, back into your chest. 2 reps like that. I like to say just kind of hold that extended position with your arms for about 2 seconds. Now the way you can make this more difficult or easier is to just simply step closer to the rack to make it easier, or step further away from the rack to make it harder. This exercise can also be done in a kneeling position if you really don't feel stable standing. It's a little bit easier to do it from kneeling, so you can also do it that way as well. 1 foot up. I say if you're going to be facing a direction, have your outside leg up. You can also do it with the inside leg up, but you're not as stable. So try that. 2 sets, 10 reps each direction. So 1 rep would be pushing the band out and bring it back in. That's 1. You'll do 10 of those. Face the other direction. Do it again. Do that 2 times through. And last but not least, we're going to do banded hip walks. I like this exercise because it also trains the glutes while you're standing. Most people, they don't really strengthen themselves in a lateral fashion. So like you might see people doing hip bridges or RDLs to strengthen the glutes and hamstrings, or squats. But a lot of times people won't want to do anything that's working kind of this lateral movement. So what you're going to do here, we're just going to do a lateral banded walk. What you do is you take about a shoulder width stance. You're never going to let your legs get any closer to this. Shoulder width stance, and just squat down slightly. So from the side, this is what I'm going to look like. Hips back, knees slightly bent. From there, what you're going to do is you're just going to take a step, making sure you don't let your knees cave in. Keep your knees flared so you keep your glute medius engaged throughout the exercise. Go 10 reps one way, 10 reps the opposite direction. You can do that twice through for a total of 20 reps each direction. And then to finish here today, we're going to do a single leg RDL. This exercise is really good for someone who's having a lot of back pain, especially because most people with back pain, when they go down and pick something up, they kind of crumble. They don't do so well at this hinging position to pick stuff up. Or, that's when they're having a lot of pain. By doing it on one leg, it kind of takes a little bit of the load off the spine and forces it into the hips and hamstrings. So what you're going to do, stand on one leg, hinge forward with the hip, and come back up tall. Hinge forward, come back up tall. Now you will feel this working in your ankle and your hip a lot, so it does require some level of balance. The main thing to keep in mind here is that all the motion's coming from the hip. You're not just bending over and standing up, right? And it's not a squat either. You don't want to squat. You want to just let it all come from the hip. Think hips back, head forward. You're going to do this 15 times each side. Now, if your balance is a limiting factor, you're going to feel like you're not getting a whole lot out of this. So what you can do is just hang on to something. You can either grab onto like a stable object like a wall, or you could just get like a broomstick handle, or like I have here, a PVC pipe, and you can use that for a little bit of balance as well. So you can just stick this off your side and hinge the hips like that. And now you have something that gives you just a little bit more balance. Notice that I'm keeping my hips level to one another. I'm not twisting as I come down. I'm just keeping the hips in this neutral position. Same thing from this side. I'm not going to be twisting the body like I'm down, right? My hips are staying in a neutral position. You're not seeing a whole lot of twisting at the trunk. Give those exercises a try. See how you feel. You can do these once or twice a day, depending on how much time you have. In addition to this, like I said before, I recommend trying to walk a good 15-20 minutes at least 2 to 3 times a day. That's going to keep your body feeling nice and loose and prevent you from locking up. Thanks.